robust urban garlic flavor.
Hello everybody, once again we are looking at DSP giving yet another variation of I should be getting millions of views each day because I put out a lot of videos rant. So he's been getting whispers of something happening with YouTube's algorithm, which guess what, it changes all the time. Anytime a video is uploaded, the algorithm learns of that and moves on to something else. So this really isn't anything newsworthy if YouTube changed it or not, because it's always changing. But he thinks there's been a massive change put in place, and then he just goes on a tirade where he just makes it all about himself. So let's get into it.
What I want to talk about right now is the thing going on YouTube. I briefly mentioned this the other day, and I just want to let you all know there's no cause for alarm or anything.
Yeah, because the situation itself doesn't affect DSP at all, because he's escaped the algorithm because he's just an online panhandler and he has this little small group of people that give him large amounts of money.
Well, I just want to let everyone know what's going on, okay? So the other day I talked about this, that content creators across YouTube have been bringing up this weird topic, that they're noticing a distinct downturn in their viewership. It wasn't me saying this, it was all of YouTube.
Like, I haven't heard anything about this, but then again, I haven't really been looking in those spaces regardless, so I have no idea. All I know is that about a month ago, it was like August 10th, where YouTube said we're going to use AI systems to remove accounts that we think are children, putting their ages like above 18. So during that, people were panicking that they were going to lose views because of that and that they'd misidentify people. So interestingly enough, that week my channel views peaked, and actually the first 2 days after, the views were really good, then they collapsed for 1 day, then it returned to normal. But basically, I think I was growing until that week, and then since that week, I've been down 5% instead of continuing to grow, which isn't a huge shock because it's not just going to be an upward trend. It's going to go up and down and up and down. But, you know, for the past like 4 or 5 weeks, it's been pretty stable at where it is for me. The views haven't gone down. If they have, it's like 5%. But since I'm such a small channel and there's not like a huge amount of data, it doesn't really have much impact besides saying, hey, it's just leveled off a little bit below the peak, but it's still well above average compared to like 2 or 3 months ago.
People who basically rely on views to be like their life's blood, and they had noticed that over the last week to 2 weeks that all of their views have tanked. They're releasing their normal content. It's all in line with what people watch on their channels, yet it's saying that both overall viewership and engagement is way down on all of their content. We're talking people are saying their views are down like 50%. Okay, which is pretty insane to think, a 50% dip in views.
Bill's speaking very generally here, so I don't know who he's talking about, but my guess would be he's looking at gaming channels and seeing what they are saying. Or he's just making this up to go on a rant, who knows?
So, everyone's speculating what it could be. One piece of speculation is that there is what's called a restricted mode on YouTube, where if you put your channel into restricted mode, it will like hide 90% of the content on YouTube, thinking that it's all like, oh, it's adult content. It's not anything you want to watch. So for example, we tested it with my channel. If you put my channel on restricted mode, the only videos you'll see is the daily wrap. You will never see a gameplay video. You'll never see a podcast. You'll only see the daily wrap. That's it. You'll think the only content I put out is the daily wrap.
My guess for that would be it's profanity based, because in the daily wrap, he rarely ever swears, while in his gameplay and his podcast, he swears like a sailor.
Which would make no sense, because what are you wrapping up if all you're doing is the daily wrap, right? So, that was speculation number one. Do I actually believe that? No, I don't think that's really what's going on. Here's what I think is happening, and of course, this is based purely on my experience being a YouTuber for 17 years. Okay, I think YouTube changed the algorithm again.
Here's the thing about YouTube's algorithm, it isn't something that is ever set in stone. It's always processing data and it's always reacting off of that. Sometimes they make wholesale shifts in the algorithm, like for example, the Reply Girls. Back about 13 to 15 years ago, every popular video had a whole bunch of videos after the fact that just copied their tags and it said RE, aka reply, colon, and then the title of the video. And it was just somebody who looked good with a flattering photo, and when you clicked on that video, it was just them like mumbling and stuff about the topic, if even that. And those videos didn't accumulate watch time, they didn't keep people on the site. So what YouTube did is they changed their algorithm to reward creators that were able to retain an audience. And guess who couldn't retain an audience? Dark Side Fail.
I think that YouTube has, number one, changed the way that videos are showing up in related and things like that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Related wouldn't lead to a drop in 50% of views like you are saying, or probably exaggerating. Most of the views people get nowadays are from the homepage because that's how YouTube has built their site to work. If you search for something, you have to be very specific in what you're looking for because YouTube will recommend something else.
And number two, I think that YouTube has changed the way that views are recorded.
I think they did do it recently in that if you were on the home page and your mouse lingered on a thumbnail, it would play a part of the video and it would count as a view, which is like, if they're only browsing it for 15 seconds, why would that count? But I don't know. I honestly think a lot of, if they just scrubbed out, hey, this person only watched for 2 seconds and just not counting that, that would actually be beneficial to the creator because it doesn't drag down their watch time metrics.
I also think that YouTube has once again decided not to disclose this to anyone in the public.
Yeah, because it's a whole lot of tinkering put in. And probably half the time, they don't know what the results will be until they see them after the fact. And then they adjust accordingly. But most of the time, it's not engineers, it's the actual computer program that is making those corrections, Phil.
So overnight, you're a creator, you're making content, your viewers are engaged with it and like it and watching it, but for some reason, it's claiming that your views are down, right?
So let me talk a little bit about explaining what the algorithm is because DSP knows nothing about it. If he did, he wouldn't be doing the exact same stupid tactics of uploading slop every single day. The algorithm looks at your channel and it starts with your most consistent viewers. So usually those are subscribers and people who may not be subscribed, but they watch, let's say 8 out of every 10 videos. So those are the people who see your videos first if they happen to be online. If they don't happen to be online, it goes down a tier, but basically it goes from high to low. So who are the people that are most likely to watch your video to least likely, okay? So it starts off with the most likely tier. If they enjoy the video, if they watch it, they like it, they subscribe or whatever, they interact with it, then the algorithm will push it out to the next tier of people who the algorithm thinks will watch it. And then if they enjoy it, it moves on to the next tier. If they don't, it stops, and so on and so forth. So if DSP's channel, his videos gets pushed out to his subscribers, but he has a very large channel that has been active for over 15 plus years. So it's really only not just his subscribers, but his more recent subscribers who have been watching. They get it, and how long they watch it is based on how much it gets pushed out. And you can look at DSP's channel. It shows you that his videos don't get very far. He's lucky to break 1,000 these days. And that's because people don't want to watch raw unedited gameplay, but he doesn't get that. Now, the other thing that DSP doesn't get about the algorithm is uploads. So the video that's going to get the most priority is the most recent uploaded. So if you upload 8 videos a day in quick succession like DSP does, where he uploads 4 at once, they're not going to have room to grow because they're competing against each other. He thinks that a viewer is going to watch all those videos because they're parts and they're in order, but really people don't do that anymore, because going from part 1 to part 60, yeah, you're not going to do that. People don't have that like dedication anymore where they're going to be searching for your videos. Okay, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. The site isn't built like that anymore. Now it's just all chunked together into a 5-hour video. But DSP plays like 20 hours plus long of gameplay, so he can't really do that. So what he's actually doing is, since he puts his live streams, chops them up, his live streams get more views in total than his videos on demand. But the thing is, what's crushing his channel is those views don't count because he privates them. Once you put it to private, it doesn't count them in your public views. He may see he gets views, but they don't count towards the algorithm. If they were unlisted, they still count. So all the algorithm sees is these videos on demand, which people don't want to really watch because it's just sloppy seconds. It's after the fact, and most people with the interest were tuning into the live stream anyway. So that's why Phil doesn't get much views on them. And that's what Phil is so salty about. He thinks that because he can get 4,000 to 6,000 views on a live stream, that his videos on demand should at least get 4,000 to 6,000 views. He doesn't get that a live stream is a lot less tantalizing after the fact. So, you know, I could talk about the algorithm for hours and like the various quirks of it, but I think that's just a brief overview, like why I feel salty, because he doesn't work with it. He does what he wants and what he thinks will work, but the data shows you otherwise.
Does it make any sense? No. But this has happened before. I talked about this a few days ago, that years and years ago, when I was a prominent gamer on YouTube, I had videos that historically would always be recommended videos if you were looking for a certain subject matter. If you were looking for Spider-Man or Spider-Man Web of Shadows or Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions or just Spider-Man video game, my playthroughs would pop up.
Yeah, and this is what helped him get to his peak back in 2011, because what he would do is he would mass upload a ton of videos a day. And at that point, it didn't really matter because people were like, okay, part 1, part 2, part 3, I'll just click and watch them all. He actually does what YouTube really likes today, which is consistency and getting videos up as soon as possible. And the people that are really good at it just like vlog and upload a 10-minute segment that people watch, like think Moist Critical. Now, there are other people that make evergreen videos, which are always going to have interest in them, so they take a lot of time. But there are a lot of people that just make quick things that decay after like 24 hours.
Videos that had millions upon millions of views would be high up in the rankings on YouTube. And then one day YouTube flipped a switch, said, we don't want any legacy content like that to get views anymore. We only want new content to be pushed through the algorithm, not old content. And overnight, all of my videos were removed from YouTube search. I actually tested this the other day live on the channel when I typed in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. If you just type that in, my videos don't show up, but I have the #2 most viewed video of the game on all of YouTube, over 3 million views, but it doesn't show up in search.
So let me all cue you in as to why. Those videos are very old, so the algorithm doesn't really care for them anymore. Also, a lot of the videos he made in the first couple years of his channel, he didn't even use a capture card. So in today's era, nobody is going to be watching those videos, even if they have hundreds of thousands to millions of views, because they're going to click on it and they're like, why is this guy recording with a camera? I want to see capture footage, okay? Now also, he mass uploads. That actually got him popular back in the day because YouTube allowed you to do that because their length of videos were 10 minutes. So he was able to just completely upload tons of videos a day, just raw gameplay with him talking over it while he was playing it. So it's just very easy to do and very quick content. Now YouTube doesn't prioritize that. It doesn't want parts to everything. It doesn't want you to have a 100-part gameplay through where everything's 10 minutes long. It wants it all together in like a 10-hour thing. That's what it will recommend to people, okay? So DSP is just a mass spammer, and the algorithm knows that his videos don't get a lot of engagement, and there's a lot of stories behind that, mostly because he turned comments off his videos. So basically people don't want to comment on his videos anymore, even though he turned it on, because if you don't kiss Phil's butt, he's not going to keep those comments up there. So on his channel, he has 67,000 videos. That is more than the time his channel has been around if you had him upload a video every single day from like 2011 or whatever he started to now, okay? Today, he averages around 13,000 views daily, but he has 67,000 videos that are public on his channel. What does that mean? It means if you spread all those views out and attached 1 view to each video, only 1 out of 5 videos would have a view. That means tens of thousands of videos that he has are not being watched by anybody. 0 views. And mainly the views he gets are from his live streams, but those don't count on Social Blade, or they don't show up on Social Blade because he privates the live streams. So the daily views he gets from his on-demand videos, they show you it's about 13,000. And let's say probably like 30% of that is from like the 8 videos he uploads, you know, all the game playthroughs and the daily wraps. And then the other stuff, it's probably an extra 1,000 from the day before. And like the 9,000 stuff is just dispersed through his thousands upon thousands of videos. That's a very bad attachment rate if you didn't figure that out by now. Like, let's just say like I got like 100 videos and I get like 9,000 views daily, so it's like 90 views per video, okay? You don't want to have thousands of videos on your channel where nobody's watching, because the algorithm sees that and they're like, nope, we're not going to prioritize this. So he's like a channel that has like 5 subscribers that has like 200 videos where they're just all gameplay. There's tons of them on YouTube, and YouTube knows not to send that stuff out to people. But Phil is just so stubborn that he's going to keep doing the things the way he's been doing, because he's like, oh, this is just extra money in my pocket. I don't have to put any effort in. But the thing is, if he was actually selective of what on-demand videos he would choose to upload, he would be getting more views. He would easily be getting like 26,000 daily views instead of 13,000. But that's just Phil. He doesn't think, he doesn't understand the algorithm whatsoever, and he blames YouTube for being a detractor when it's really he should have adapted and worked with YouTube instead of just fighting against what the algorithm wants, because what he wants to do isn't what people want to see.
But videos of people who only have like 100,000 views show up in search.
Yeah, so unlike Phil's videos, those ones have high engagement, high watch time, high like ratio. That's why they get pushed in the algorithm instead of DSP's old stuff that nobody cares for anymore.
So YouTube changes the algorithm all the time. They never publicly disclose when they do. They do it for their own purposes. I'm going to repeat something that I've said over the years, all right? And this is my firm opinion, and I doubt it's ever going to change. The people who work at YouTube are Ivy League trained, silver spoon in the mouth, really, and basically don't know what real life is all about. Okay?
Yeah, basically Phil came to this conclusion once he started getting deprioritized by the algorithm. He just put a bunch of tropes of things that he didn't like and just mashed them together. I'm like, okay, this is what the archetype of YouTube executives are.
They have these weird criteria that they use to judge what's good and what's bad. They're not like you and me.
Yeah, but Phil, you live in Bizarro world, so if you're saying they're weird, that means their criteria is normal. And Phil's baseline for criteria is that uploading raw gameplay onto YouTube in 2025 should be getting thousands of views. Let that sink in.
They grew up in a whole different world than us, okay? Quite frankly. They've always been pampered.
Phil, you went to private school. Your parents had money. And even today, you're still pampered by your fans. You beg and whine, they give you money. That's how it works.
They're basically immune to any kinds of criticism.
You insulate yourself from any kind of criticism.
And therefore, they run their whole business like that.
And like you said before, this is all your opinion, but guess what? Your opinion is worthless because you don't have the facts to back it up. You're not backing it up with anything. All I see here is a lot of projection, Philip.
They think they're better than you and me. They think that they're very much smarter than you and me, despite the fact that we're the people who use YouTube every day, and we understand the ins and outs of how it works. We know what people want to see. They think they know better.
Phil, they know absolutely better than you. Most of the time, their algorithm is just run by a computer system. They don't change it manually. They know that people don't want to be spammed with 8 videos daily that have no effort put into them. Anyone outside of your tin pot snort fort complex will understand that.
So they will literally just change the algorithm. It will completely change the way that the site works from the ground up.
Not necessarily. Sometimes it does, but it's usually minor changes. The big one was changing from views and clicks to watch time, retention, and engagement. That is when DSP fell off hard because he had a lot of views and clicks because he had a ton of videos, but he didn't have a ton of engagement. And you know who did have engagement? PewDiePie.
They won't even tell anyone they did it and be like, oh, well, we know what we're doing. Doesn't matter what you say. And there's been tons of times over the years when YouTube creators have gone to YouTube and said, you changed something and broke the site. Please believe us. And YouTube will be like, no, there's no evidence of that. That's not true. So then they'll present evidence. Well, what about this? Well, what about this? Oh, no, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not evidence of anything. And just what you're saying isn't true.
Would you like to give us an example of this, Phil? That would help your argument. And there has been stuff where YouTubers have been critical about YouTube changing the site, like removing dislikes. If you think about it, the genre that gets most impacted by that is how-to videos, because it's like if there's a bunch of dislikes, it probably means the video was not very helpful in what said it was trying to accomplish for you. And also, YouTube kind of chucked it because the dislike button was being used for trolling and things like that, and basically trying to discourage people from watching a video because they didn't like the person or they didn't like the system that it was part of. So I get removing that, but the resulting change is that people are going to look at the like button and see, okay, if this video has 10,000 views but only like 10 likes, it's probably not a good video. And like the thing is, if people are just sitting on a video, like there are creators like Darkside I feel where people do this. They click on the video, hit dislike, and then automatically leave. Is that valuable information? They didn't watch the video. How do they know automatically that's going to be a garbage content video? I mean, it's Phil, so it's like 99% of the time always is, but if you extrapolate that to other things, yeah, you could have creators that get destroyed just because a contingency of people say, hey, we're going to just drop 100 dislikes on the video immediately.
Okay? So I feel like the whole views debacle going on YouTube right now is just another case of this, because this has happened, probably no exaggeration, 20 to 30 times over the years, where YouTube just said, we're just going to change something. But wait, we like that thing. Why are you taking it away? Or we used it. It was really useful. Why is it going away? Or wait, you're adding a feature now, but we don't want that feature. We don't actually think that's good or will benefit us. It's actually detrimental. They don't care. They'll do whatever they want. So in this case, I really do feel like views aren't counting the same way. Okay? How can I tell? Well, just take a look at my videos for the last couple of weeks. Okay? Notably, taking a look at some of the playthroughs that I'm putting out right now. Okay? Suikoden 2. Typically, wouldn't get many views within the first 24 hours, but within a few days, each video would get around 200 to 300 views. And it's been like that for the whole playthrough for several weeks. Okay?
Now, here's what you have to remember. This is not a hot new game. This is an old game. And his audience isn't even turning out for the streams anyway, so they're going to have low views. And that's basically been the ballpark for him recently. He struggles to even get 500 views on a gameplay video.
What about a hot new game like Silksong? Well, the first few parts did really well. But how is Silksong performing now? Are you aware? According to YouTube, no one's watching Silksong.
Yeah, because he uploads videos, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. YouTube is not going to recommend part 7. It's going to recommend part 1, if anything. And then people are going to click off, and then YouTube's like, okay, this isn't worth putting in anybody's feeds. The only people that get access to those videos are people who are subscribed to Phil. That's all. It doesn't get very far past that. And that's because his videos or segments from his live stream, if he just left his live stream up, he'd probably get more views than splitting them up, because people who already watched the live stream aren't going to rewatch the gameplay or the podcast. So that's already dragging him down, because he's slashing his potential viewership from, like, I don't know, 1,000 people down to 20.
I want you to think about that. This is a playthrough that when I started it on Thursday, everyone was shocked that I was playing it. Everyone ran and watched part 1. Then I did a night stream of it the other night. The views on there are quite good. Yesterday, I did my first ever major stream of it. People showed up, engaged, and supported. It was a great stream. YouTube says, oh, no one's interested.
It's a great stream. It's a great stream. Only as coffee wailed out on me. That means I should get 50,000 views for this video. No, Phil. The only people interested in your content on your live streams are when it's live. Very few people tune in after the fact. So that is a huge issue when you just dump your gameplay onto your channel, because it even drags down every other video you put out, because it drags down all the other videos that are actually something feasible, like, you know, when you do a review or something. But it also drags down your live stream potential too, because they're saying if his videos are bad, why are we even supporting his live streams? The algorithm isn't going to push anything you have out there because you push out too much of too low quality. Just because you turn on OBS and play a game does not mean people want to watch it. You still have this mentality that YouTube is in 2008. We've gone way beyond that.
But it's literally the most engaged and supported stream I've done in weeks. People loved the stream and supported it. Oh, no one wants to watch that.
The one key thing that you're missing, Phil, is that live streams are not as popular after they are live. And then there's a bunch of other things that you do with your channel that deprioritizes everything. YouTube takes your channel in an aggregate, and they mostly focus on what's very recent. So if they see, okay, this guy posts 8 videos a day, but he's only averaging 300 views a video, they are not going to push another video that you have. Even if it's a video that could get 100,000 views, your channel is low priority. It gets squashed, so it probably struggles to get 1,000 views. You fundamentally do not understand how YouTube works, and your ignorance shows. Just because you have 5 whales giving you money does not mean that you are popular to the masses.
What the f are you talking about? Yeah, according to YouTube, the Silk Song videos are doing absolutely terrible in viewership. No one is checking them out.
Phil, when 90% of your audience saw it already, they're not going to watch it again.
Sorry, I have to be a little skeptical on that. Okay?
Oh my god, you're a complete idiot. Like, he thinks that there's 100,000 people out there that actually enjoy watching his content. Phil, those people are there to see clips of you being an idiot, not enjoying your robust gameplay.
Same thing with the Chronos playthrough, where when I started it on Friday, it was a little bit slow to hit the ground, to be honest, but it was still decent viewership. Okay? And then the second session did pretty good. And then all of a sudden, the videos that I did the other day, oh, no one's watching them.
Yeah, because you title your videos in sequential order. So people aren't going to start on part 3. They're going to start on part 1, get bored, and leave. And the cycle repeats again and again. As a game streamer, you should be focusing on highlights or edited clips. But you refuse to edit. You refuse to hire somebody to edit. You refuse to actually post stuff that most people on the internet want to see. And because of that, you don't get any views.
Everyone was interested at the beginning. Now, all of a sudden, in the middle, when the game's getting harder and I'm dying more, no one wants to watch.
Dude, you can look at any other video game creator that uploads gameplay with parts in it from back in 2007 to today. Part 1 gets the most views, and then it goes down and down and down and down. There may be some blips, like if it's the ending or a boss battle, but for the most part, views go down. Like, I can't believe how stupid he is. But then again, this is how he thinks, and this is why he doesn't get any views. Only 1 out of 5 of his videos that he's posted of all time has views in a single day. And even then, it's probably like 95% of his videos don't get a single view daily because he uploads so much and it's so much hot garbage. And none of it is evergreen because a game playthrough, once you get past like 2 years, nobody cares that much. Like, even his Mario Kart World playthrough, which everybody loved, or at least the detractors did because he was so terrible at it, he failed to capitalize on that. All of his Knockout Tour videos, none of them eclipsed 2,000 views. What does that tell you? If you don't put any effort after a stream into turning the content into something digestible, nobody is going to watch it.
I'm sorry, YouTube. I just don't think that I believe you. I just can't. I'm not stupid. All right?
Yeah, because you're delusional completely and you have narcissistic tendencies and you think everything you do is a gift from God. You filter things so heavily to placate your ego that you can't comprehend what people actually are looking for. That's the disconnect, and you've been disconnected from people for at least 14 years, if not much longer.
The truth is, for someone like me, it doesn't affect me. Why? The vast majority of income that I actually make is based on contributions during live streams, okay? Subs on Kick, memberships, super chats, and super stickers or tips during live streams. That's the vast majority of my income. Now, I'm not saying that I make nothing on YouTube for your ad revenue and views. That would be ridiculous. There is an ongoing amount of income that I get from ad revenue and views. And if I take a look at my viewership, okay, it does say that for me, as just like everyone else, because it's not just me, it's been across the board, YouTube is telling me that my views are down slightly. Okay, if I'm actually being honest here, taking a look month to month, wow, gee, thanks for only showing me videos. Here it is. It is showing that there was a decline in viewership starting around 2 weeks ago. Now, it did spike a bit again since then. I don't know if that's because I started playing new games. Maybe that is what it is. Okay. But it is showing a decline, like as if views did taper off and go like downward, but now they're going back up. It doesn't make any sense. Why would that be? There's no point. There's no reason. Literally, there's no reason why that would be. It just is according to YouTube. Okay. So FYI, don't be worried. All right. It's not the end of the world at all. As long as you guys keep showing up, engaging, and supporting the content during the live streams.
But Phil, you're just so divorced from the algorithm in general. How does this dip in your viewership mean anything? It could just be a regular up and down kind of thing.
And if we do have people who come back and do occasionally contribute who watch on demand, because they do. Every once in a while, we'll have someone come by and they're like, hey, so, I'm watching your playthrough on demand. I can't make every stream, but here's a contribution. As long as we have that going on, I'm okay. All right. My channel's lasted long enough. I have enough of a body of content. My streams are regular enough that I'm good. But you know who this will affect? Other creators who rely on video views on their videos that they put out very infrequently. So example, maybe a YouTuber who's like a video essayist, right? Who puts out a video maybe once a month, once every 2 weeks about a certain topic. They're going to be affected in a really bad way, to be honest. Maybe someone who's like a reviewer who only does like big in-depth reviews of a movie or a game or a series. They're going to be affected because they're mostly basing their income and revenue on viewership and ad revenue and or supplemental income. Here's the thing. A lot of those kind of YouTubers get sponsorships, right? They'll be plugging a food delivery service or Dollar Shave Club or whatever the thing of this week is currently. That's the big one, right? The thing is, if their views dip, what if they're losing 10%, 20%, 30%, 50% of their viewership? That's a bad thing because now those sponsors will look at them and be like, oh, that's bad. I don't want to give a sponsorship to someone who's not getting as many views anymore. They're on a downward trend. I'm going to save that sponsorship for someone who's fresh and new.
Yeah, but even without an algorithm change, that tends to happen all the time, Phil, because people get popular, then the popularity burns out because people get bored and moved on to new things.
I hate to say it, this could be one of the things that YouTube is doing. YouTube could intentionally be saying, we want a refreshing of the site. We're tired of seeing the same people get the views, and we want to actually push views towards different people.
Like, I'm kind of skeptical they're in their laboratory and saying, okay, YouTuber A, we're going to boost their views artificially. YouTuber B, we're going to drag them out. I think it basically is more about genres and trends and things like that. From what we know, the way they changed their algorithm earlier in the year was to put an emphasis on channels that had less than 10,000 subscribers. So on your recommended page, you wouldn't just see things from popular channels or channels that you were subscribed to, but also these smaller channels so they could get an emphasis or at least get some more exposure, because that has been a main complaint from smaller channels. And guess what happens? They give them the exposure, some pop, most of them don't get any interest in them. And actually, what this appears to be is it may be an ad blocking situation where if you have an ad block on, YouTube doesn't count your view because the creator isn't getting any money on ads. YouTube isn't getting money on ads from your view, which is ironic because before I got premium, all I saw were ads, advertising, ad blockers on YouTube. So yeah, creators that have viewers that a sizable percentage of them use ad blockers are going to lose money with sponsorships because those views aren't counting now. Now, I'm not 100% sure if that's exactly what is going on, but it just seems that something happened around the middle of August, and I really think it's more just like that AI scrubbing some accounts that they think are children. But I don't know. All I know is that my channel was largely unaffected by this, or if it was affected, I didn't lose a significant amount of viewership. I just plateaued.
And therefore, we're going to make it that views just aren't counting the same anymore. Maybe they changed the criteria. Maybe now you need to watch even more of a certain percentile of a video for it to actually count as a view.
Which, believe it or not, if they had it like where people that clicked off the video after 5 seconds, you don't count that as a review and it doesn't affect your watch time or retention, that's good for creators.
Maybe they're no longer counting ad block views. Did you ever think of that? That YouTube can detect if you're running an ad blocker, and if you are, they just say, well, your view doesn't count? That could be. So, I don't know. To be honest, again, it's not a big deal for me because I've been here long enough. My streams do well enough, but I see this as being a big problem for people who have a different business model. For example, if I was still operating on my old business model, which was just pump out an insane amount of gameplay in one day, don't do any interaction on streams or anything like that, instead, just push videos. Like, this would literally crush my viewership. It would crush my business.
Well, if he never switched to live streaming, his business would have been done years ago. Probably pre-adpocalypse, believe it or not.
I'm glad that I changed and adopted. And I feel like if this continues, if this actual distinct change continues, all right, and the viewership remains much lower, what's going to end up happening is creators who you used to see only make on-demand videos are going to have to change. They're now going to have to start do streams. They're going to do other kinds of topics and things that they didn't cover before and have to try to find a way to monetize it. You're going to see a lot of people now adopting subscription bases, like, oh, privatized videos that you can only see if you're a member, or pledge to my Patreon and on there I do an exclusive show. You're going to start seeing a lot more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, did you hear that change in tone? It's called him being relative. He's trying to make it seem like everybody is like him, that everybody is an e-bagger like him, and therefore, his behavior is justifiable. He doesn't realize that a lot of people that are like in the mid-tier will just quit and do something else. And a lot of those people that I've at least seen, at least the bigger names that have talked about this, they probably already are doing things like live streams and merch and things like that. And there's just a lot of cases of people who just fall off of YouTube slowly, where they stop making videos, but instead they start live streaming because they realize, hey, it can take 10 hours to make a video, and I really only get paid for like 3 to 5 hours if I like compare it to like a regular job. But if I live stream, I can spend like 2 to 3 hours live streaming and get the same amount of money, if not like double or triple. And they decide, hey, I'm just going to rely on people giving me money instead of relying on ads. So then they stop making videos and they just become full-time live streamers.
All right. And what happens when that happens is now you're required to pay. The whole model of, oh, I just watch someone's content on demand and the ad revenue is what I pay them with, is going to go away.
Dude, that is the biggest pot calling the kettle black thing I've ever seen. Your entire model is pay or I will not do anything. Like, once again, something happens and Phil makes it all about himself and how he tries to justify his e-begging.
Okay? So what YouTube doesn't realize they're doing, if they are doing this, is they're shooting themselves in the foot. Because what's going to end up happening is people are going to move to monetization models that cut YouTube out of the picture.
No, YouTube is going to be getting the super chats. YouTube is going to be getting the memberships. That's 30%. What are you talking about? If anything, for most people, they make more money off their streams than the actual videos the streamers put out. And here's the thing that Phil's neglecting to tell you: everybody wants to be a YouTuber. Everybody and their mother wants to be a YouTuber. So if somebody falters and goes away, there's always going to be somebody that steps up and takes their place. The people making the videos may change, but the people watching are largely still there and still looking for stuff. Well, you know, still waiting for the algorithm to feed them stuff to watch. Like, he's so oblivious that he thinks like everybody on YouTube is doing this as a career for like 50 years and they're entitled to stay on that. Like, no, you're a contractor, Phil. If you aren't partnered with a network right now, you wouldn't be able to make anything on your streams except PayPal tips and Kick, because your AdSense has been revoked.
They're not going to care about ad revenue anymore. They're going to say, come to my Patreon or buy this product that's sponsoring me. Right?
Phil, have you ever heard of a little thing called channel memberships? They probably made channel memberships not because you could put emotes on live streams, but because it may have been a response to Patreon. They probably wanted their cut.
So again, the oh so smart people who work at YouTube, Ivy League trained, right? Spoon in the mouth, pampered their whole lives, rich, who think that they're so brainiac intelligent and better than all of us, are coding the site out of their own revenue model because they're that stupid.
Yeah, well, their revenue model is get people to pay for everything on the site. And you feed into that too. You have a whole product list on every single one of your videos, Phil. You want those affiliate links.
They're actually going to hurt themselves more. But
the thing you're neglecting to see, Phil, is that the companies that pay for ads on YouTube want to know if their advertising is effective or not. If their ads are being shown on videos but people have ad blocks, They're not going to get a complete picture of the data. They're going to be thinking they're spending more money for less. So yeah, that could be a reason why YouTube is saying, yeah, your ad block doesn't count, because our advertisers will just say, hey, we want to pay lower rates for the ads because it says people are getting shown these ads, but we're not getting as much traffic as before. YouTube is a business, Phil. It's not set up for you specifically to panhandle on the internet. Buy the domain for it and just start panhandling. Oh, and you also got to make sure it has a server or something that allows you to stream on it. Have fun with that.
There you go. Who knows what's really going on? But ultimately, I don't want you to worry. Like, for example, I looked at the Silk Song videos from yesterday thinking, gee, how are people enjoying them? I look at the views, I'm like, how many views did it get? What? So just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, okay?
Phil, I assure you, your fans don't care how much viewership you have on your on-demand videos. If they care about anything, it's probably the amount of people on your stream, because more people means more chatters.
It's actually claiming that
nobody cares about this stupid demonstration that you're doing or your on-demand videos, and YouTube, if it's saying that, would be absolutely correct.
Of the 3 Silk Song videos I released yesterday, one of them has 400 views. One of them has 245 views, and one only has 202 views.
Phil, we don't care, and guess what? Of those views, most of those people watched all 3 videos or parts of all 3 videos because they're your diehard fans. The rest are just people who clicked off after like 20 seconds, or they were there to just clip it.
So you're gonna tell me I had more people watching on my live stream than are interested in watching the video after the fact?
Yes, exactly, because your content is made for live streaming, and that's with most live streams after they're not that entertaining, but you recycle them, and because you get rid of the views from your streams, you're at 0, okay? So everything that counts is your on-demand videos, and guess what? They don't get pushed out to anybody, so if the algorithm has the expectation that your videos aren't good, they're not suddenly going to push out a video and let it reach like 10,000 views.
Do you really think I believe that? That has never happened in the entire history of me streaming, that I got overall more viewers on the live stream than on the on-demand videos.
If you're talking about peak concurrent viewership, you have an argument, but if you're talking about every single view that you get on your live streams, that happens all the time. You've told us that you get like anywhere from like 6,000 to 9,000 viewers on your live stream. Today it's probably like 4 to 6, but that is more than your on-demand videos, and it's been more for years. So you're full of it.
That doesn't make any sense at all. YouTube is just not counting views.
So if they've identified a viewer as using ad block, why are they even counting their views on the stream then?
But the thing is, I don't care. I'm not going to freak out about it because I would have made pennies on those videos anyway on demand. It's about you guys supporting the stream. And yesterday was one of the best supported streams I have had in weeks. We hit 2 goals and then some. We unlocked DSP tries it. We had a great time. Really?
Yeah, you see what's been happening in the past 2 weeks is that Only Iced Coffee has been going into maximum pay pig mode, so Phil is hitting the goals every single stream because he's wailing out on Phil for whatever reasons. I don't know. It just makes for a lot of goal whining that you don't see at end of streams now, so you just have to pick through the middle parts.
What I like to do, I do want to talk just a little bit about Silk Song because I'm enjoying it so much, and we will do that in a moment, okay? But, man, if I believed that and I was worried about that, I'd be freaking out like, oh, I guess you guys don't want Silk Song, huh? You want no more Silk Song because you didn't watch the videos, right?
Wow, Phil, you are the biggest idiot on the planet. It's always been about the views on your live streams and the money given into you, largely the money. So you never use the video on demand as indicators of anything because they aren't, because most of your audience sees the stream, so they're not going to watch the video. And Phil couldn't care if that video got 0 views. As long as the stream was supported by Only Iced Coffee or another whale, he's good to go. Keep streaming it.
I mean, I'd be a moron to even go off that data. The stream was incredibly well attended, well supported. Why would I believe that data that no one's watching the videos? I'd be an idiot.
Oh my god, he is so delusional and stupid, and it's right in front of him, but he can't see it. He's really annoyed that Silksong didn't get as many views, honestly. I don't understand this man. He makes all his money on the live streams, yet he's complaining about on-demand viewership. Phil, nobody's watching your sloppy seconds. Get over it. And you can tell he really is tilted by this. He really wants those garbage re-recorded or replayed videos to get tens of thousands of views, because they did in the past, they did with Elden Ring. So nowadays when it's faltering, that's a little less change in his pocket, and he's not happy about that. This thing absolutely does not affect him. What affected him in the views department was the Kino Casino War. You lost a lot of people there, so that's even less people watching your streams nowadays. Congratulations, Phil. Yeah, so there's like 10 more minutes of this nonsense, but he also went on another rant about this like a week later, so I'm just gonna cut it here because 45 minutes just seems to be the length for these videos. We're at like the maximum of it. Alright everybody, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought about DSP's rant, and I will see you all next time. This is Robust turning off the station.